Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week, and we're very happy to introduce you to our show titled Speak of Africa. We have a whole lot of news for you today, so much news, and I know you guys love news. We're going to talk about South Africa. We're going to talk about Nigeria. We're going to talk about Mali. We're going to talk about Gambia. We're going to talk about Gabon. We're going to talk about Congo DRC. We're going to talk about the Central African Republic. We're going to talk about Britain. Britain is not an African country, but Britain is in African news. So we're going to talk about Britain today. Then we're going to talk about Benin. Benin, they used to call it the Kingdom of Dahomey. We're going to talk about Dahomey, Benin. And we're going to talk about Cameroon. We're going to talk about Ambazonia. So we have a whole lot of news for you today. But before we begin, we want to say thank you to all our subscribers. Without you, we really have no show. You are the ones giving us the raison d'etre to have this show. When we started this show, we did not have a single subscriber. Thanks to the confidence you have in us, we are having people who are viewing the show, they are subscribing, and they are sharing the show with their friends and family. We cannot take you for granted. We appreciate you, and that's why we are always reading your comments, and we're encouraging you to continue commenting, continue sharing the show with your friends and family. Please, if this is the first time you've been Speak of Africa, please, welcome to our show, and we hope you enjoy it. If there's anything you don't like, please share it with us. We like to be responsive to our viewers, okay? Then the businesses that are supporting this show, we like to say special thank you. You guys understand that we are very pro-business. We started this show because we wanted to give a voice to people of African descent, Africans, African Americans, and West Indians. We're doing just that, and this show focuses on Afrocentricity. We make Africa the centerpiece of the news. But when we look at the news, we like to look at the news in a geopolitical context. What is happening in Africa today? If we look at the world map, how does Africa fit in? Because that's the way we should really be looking at African events. We cannot look at Africa in isolation. For this week, we're going to tell you a whole lot about what has happened in Africa and what is happening in the world and how this relates to Africa. That's what we're going to do with the show of today. But before we begin, we want to remind you that we've built 2 mobile apps for our Afrizy.com social media platform. The platform is now ready. A lot of people are using it. Afrizy.com. If you go to Afrizy.com, you're going to see that people are already registering. We've built mobile apps for the Android, Google, then we also have for iOS for Apple Store, okay? So you can download this app and you watch our channel from your mobile device. We've done this. We're not going to censor you. We created this channel because, as we told you, Facebook has banned us. So we decided that this is time for us to create our own social media platform. In fact, interestingly, you can use your YouTube or even your Facebook credentials to log into Afrizy. You can use LinkedIn to log into Afrizy. You can even use Gmail to log into Afrizy. So when you look at the screen, we'll make it possible for you to use your existing credentials from another social media platform to log into Afrizy. Then you'll be able to share a lot of stuff with your friends and family. So we're encouraging our people to start moving to this new platform. We've started uploading content on Afrizy, and we're going to continue next week to upload even more and more content. So please share the news of Afrizy with all your friends and family. Then there are a lot of businesses that are supporting us, and we want to promote them. And one of the businesses that we're promoting this week is True Health Urgent Care. True Health Urgent Care is just like a baby that we're giving birth to. We started everything for this business, and now they are ready to go live. They are in Glendale, Maryland. So if you are in Prince George's County, Maryland, this is the place where you want to go, the place to be. If you are sick or you have somebody who wants to do a COVID test, who doesn't want to go to an emergency room, if it's something mild, you want to rush them to True Health Urgent Care. They'll be very, very happy because This is a business that we're supporting. It's an African business, so we're asking you to support this business. We have also just helped another business to get started, and this is Angelic Home Care. People spend $50,000 to $150,000 to buy franchises, but we've made it easy. We want to encourage our people to get into home health. We just helped this business to have a license in Virginia for 3 years, okay? We're going to share a sample of the license with you. Angelic Home Care. And they already have a location in Falls Church. This is very close to the doctor's building, strategically located. Next, we're going to start helping them to craft an active business plan so that way they can start onboarding new clients. So any business that you're doing, we want to help you. So we'll continue telling you this is a show for people who want to do business. Africans cannot get to where they want to be if they are not interested in business or they don't want to get into professions. Similarly, we're trying to help people who want to acquire skills. In the world of today, if you do not have technical skills, you're not going to do very well. Look at even what is happening this week, the war in Ukraine. Russia thought they would just crush Ukraine in 2-3 days. In 2014, that's what happened. They just marched into Ukraine and occupied Crimea, a very lucrative area in Ukraine. They thought they were going to do the same thing in 2022. But this time, unknown to Vladimir Putin, Joe Biden was prepared for him. America has better technology. We've always said this, and some people think it's propaganda. Whenever we give you information on this show, we're giving you facts. When you look at the American military, the American system, what makes America unique is when you look at any other empire, America is a warlike nation. They've developed the technology of war better than any other country in the world. They have more weapons systems, and they're developing new ones every day. This war in Ukraine, in fact, there's been a reversal. We're telling you that we know that Ukraine is going to beat back Russia. A lot of people thought we were joking. It is happening, and it has happened this week. People are saying it. Russian soldiers have been kicked out. They have been pushing them back to their country. Thanks to US technology, they started with stuff like the Stinger missiles, then they went to the HIMARS. This is a high mobility system that Russia has never seen. And the Ukrainians were able to benefit from the American training. Then they were able to push the Russians back. Right now, Vladimir Putin has been humiliated, and he doesn't know what to do next. NATO is now just by his doorsteps. This is something he said he was afraid of. Whatever he was afraid of has happened finally. And we can already foresee what is going to happen to Vladimir Putin. He's going to lose the war in Ukraine because he has lost it already, because the Russians are surrendering already. But we know that the Russian Federation is going to disintegrate. That's one prediction we want to tell you. A lot of world powers are already preparing for the disintegration of the Russian Federation. The way the Soviet Union disintegrated in 1991, Russia is going to disintegrate in 2023. So just mark our words. Putin is going to lose power. They're going to push him aside. It may not be a palace coup, but he's going to be pushed aside. The people cannot really support it. The same way that we're looking at Putin in Russia is the same way you guys should be looking at Paul Biya in La République du Cameroun. He has brought untold suffering and damage to his people. He has decided not to negotiate with his people. As we tape the show of today, we've been told that Mr. Paul Biya's government has rejected the Swiss negotiation process. We've never really spent much time talking about the Swiss negotiation process because as far as we're concerned, we knew it was not going to get anywhere. But some people had a lot of faith in it. No, Mr. Paul Biya is a hardliner. He only believes in military force. Militarization is not going to help. He has tried different strategies and he's failing and continues failing. So from the way we see things, the war in Ambazonia is going to really get worse. But no country can really defeat a guerrilla movement which is sustained by forces outside. I've told you this. In an Nigerian proverb, there is a saying, whenever you see a little bird dancing on a tree, you should know that the master drummer of that little bird is in the forest nearby. The same thing is true of Ukraine. When you see Ukraine beating Russia, a big superpower, just know that there's a force, a master drummer, America, helping Ukraine to beat back a powerful figure like Russia. Similarly, in La République du Cameroon, when you see the Ambazonian guys, restoration forces, beating the forces of Biya, B and all those other guys, they are getting help from external sources. If you do not know this, please know this. Because of this, the war is going to be protracted. Look at what is happening in La République du Cameroon today and in Ambazonia. I think the biggest news is the Ambazonian restoration forces are very, very active. When they heard the news of the rejection of the Swiss peace process by Mr. Paul Biya, they went wild. We have a lot of videos to share with you. Take a look at the first video, the 7 kata of Bafut. Take a look at it.
Right now, I made a black talk. Yes, we're glad because when people them they do respect them. No, when people them they do respect them, no matter what. Went up the road, show them. Good. So, Ground Zero generals and commanders, with a cafe the day off. They straight. When I lock down, it don't be hurt. And this last day, I think they don't know when I walk don't come out fine. So hooray for ground, because now when they die, no matter what it. So I saw now they see them. I saw the thing them a day. Oh, we don't mobilize them. At first, when they come, the people then they run. So we don't educate them. Say they so no then they run we, because we be not there picking them.
Take a look at the second video from the Mountain Lions of Fako.
They did now the 15 for number 9 month 2022. The one with the thank the Mountain Lion Brigade for holding road hostage for the lockdown. We thank General Shaggy, General Sky, Colonel Champi, Colonel Nyangodo, Grandpa for Fako Boss Navi, all in a place a day. We thank our biggest Major General Sagat. Paya place day. Now boys and this road. Part 1 for the lockdown if you don't pass. Now the part 3 and 4 this. Now part 3 this. We now go see part 4. Now boys and this a day for road. No shaking. We don't hold the road hostage. Yes. So we go see them.
My special squad them.
Now the special squad.
Special squad and that for Fako.
Yes, for Fako.
They already say one asha. America na kumba highway America. America asha mo si mo janjan was skin na. Yes. America yeah. Ode yeah. Yeni geka. America da bumbu dem. Da bumbu pima. Da bumbu pima.
Then you also have guys in the northwest region, the Bui Unity Warriors, who are breaking apart a military outpost where the soldiers are monitoring them and killing them. Take a look again and see what is happening in Jakiri. So there's been a whole lot of action by the Ambazonian Restoration Forces, and the action are going to continue so long as Mr. Biya decides to stay course on militarization. Diodone Esomba, one of the wise men of La République du Cameroun, they have very few wise men. A lot of the other ones are sycophants. They are afraid. They don't want to say the truth. Diodone Esomba has said The genie is already out of the bottle. So there's nothing that La République can do to bring back these guys into that bottle. The genie has left the bottle. The genie are Ambazonians. They're not going to go back to a federalist state. So anybody who wants to take them back to a federalist state is just wasting his time, because they're not going to accept it. They've shed a whole lot of blood, and their blood and the blood of their martyrs has watered the ground they walk on. So they're not going to accept to go back to be slaves again. And that's the part that is untenable to Ambazonians. So trying to force them using military force, using the threat of special forces, that's what a fascist regime, like the regime of Paul Biya, does. They use threats, then they use weapons to kill people, thinking that they can use fear, but the Ambazonians have conquered fear. They have nothing to fear but fear itself. So they are ready to continue fighting. They are ready for those special forces the Biya regime has brought to Ambazonia recently. They're going to vanquish those special forces, and you can see the actions. Sometimes the Biya forces just get frustrated, and I think that's what happened when you see them in Chang, Manfe, burning the Catholic Church. Then they try to heap the blame on Ambazonia Restoration Forces. That's a big lie. You can see the soldiers of Mr. Biya burning the Catholic Church. And we see pictures of the bishop touring the facilities of this church in Chang, in Manfe. You can also see the bishop complaining. Do you think the bishop doesn't know who actually burned this church? Of course, the bishop knows. The bishop also is a politician. He may not want to heap blame on the Biya forces, but he knows that the blame for the burning of the Chang, Manfe, Catholic Church goes to the forces of Mr. Paul Biya. So the evidence is there. So they are just telling you this, but the blame should really go back to Mr. Biya's forces. So people know what happened. So the Biya forces commit all these crimes, then they try to stage things and make you think that somebody else is responsible, when actually they are the ones responsible. Why would the Ambazonian Restoration Forces be burning the Catholic Church? They don't have a reason. But these people are just frustrated. So they want to make these Ambazonian Restoration Forces look bad. If they want this war to end, they need to go back to the peace table, and they will have no choice but to go back to the peace table. If there are hardliners telling the Paul Biya regime that they can win the war, they will never win it. America, with all its sophistication, never won the war in Afghanistan. They never won the war in Vietnam. So it takes a smoking government, smoking marijuana and hemp, to think that they can win the guys in Ambazonia. After 6 years, if you've not won the guys in Ambazonia, do you want to wait for 10 years to do that? Dummy? Come on.
Sagat, the picking them, the day for road. And then this is a camp.
What is it in front? Bless na two, three.
Not three, eh?
Three.
Wait that one for back. And then this is a pass. Go.
Of course, you can see what is happening. The Ambazonian Restoration Forces are not the UPC. So what Mr. Biya does not understand is the Ambazonian Restoration Forces should not be compared with the UPC party. The French were able to vanquish them. People have been talking about UPC this week, and you can see pictures of it. The UPC were just using machetes, and they do not have any external support. But today, the Ambazonian Restoration Forces have the diaspora that is supporting them. The diaspora is rich, and they are giving them resources to fight this war. As Mr. Paul Biya prolongs this war, he's just going to help the Ambazonian Restoration Forces to up their game and have better weapons. And that's even what is happening now on the ground. It's sad, but that's the reality we can tell you. So as much as the people in La République Cameroon don't want to listen to Dieudonné Essomba, he is a visionary who really understands the problem. He's a statistician and an economist. He understands the politics of La République du Cameroon. He's been telling his people, but who is listening? Nobody is listening. And we also tell you that we are really sorry when we look at what happened to a Cameroonian in Japan. He was killed in an immigration jail by the Japanese. He was sick and they never allowed him to get any treatment. So this is really sad and we want to bring it to well attention. This channel is intended to bring attention to the plight of our people. When you do things against our people, we want the world to know about it. And we're calling the Japanese government attention to the killing of this Cameroonian. Okay? So this is sad, and we're bringing this to their attention.
Now more than ever, it is critical that medical facilities utilize modern, reliable electronic health records. Introducing Alexia HTC, the innovative, affordable online solution for physicians and patients. Doctors' visits, diagnoses, prescriptions, and billing have never been easier. With Alexia HTC, you can work more efficiently with the integrated flexibility medical professionals need today. Schedule a live demonstration. Call or visit us at alexiahtc.com.
Next, we want you to look at Benin. Benin used to be the kingdom of Dahomey, but they've changed the name. Some people look at neocolonialism and colonialism. They ask the question, when these Europeans were beating and enslaving Africans, where were Africans with their muscle? The Africans are stronger physically than most of those Europeans. Yes, but the Europeans were able to conquer Africans because they had the Remington rifle. They had better technology. Our people in Benin were using bows and arrows, which was inferior technology. A white guy, French, can stand from very far and shoot many people from Benin and kill them. But unknown to a lot of Africans were the warriors, the Amazons. So there's a movie that has been made on the characters who really took the fight to the white man during the colonial period. Okay? The Woman King. That's the title of the movie. The movie is a very popular Hollywood production. A lot of people are talking about it, and we want you to also know about this movie. Please watch it. You can see the role that African Amazons, the women, the role they played in the fight for their country. Next, we look at Britain. Britain is not really an African country, but Britain is a whole lot in the news because of the death of Queen Elizabeth II. In fact, the whole news agenda has changed because of Queen Elizabeth II. They're talking a lot about her, but at the same time, Africans are kind of uncomfortable with her role as the overseer of the colonial empire. They like her as a person, but when they look at the British rule in their countries under colonialism, it was a very sorrowful sight. Look at Mau Mau in Kenya. In fact, before the Queen got to power, she was visiting Kenya when her father died, then she became a queen. But Kenya went through a bloody fight for independence. You've heard of the Mau Mau, okay? That's where Queen Elizabeth left before she became queen. Britain did not want to allow Kenya to get its independence. So the Kenyans had to fight. And so when you have people like Jomo Kenyatta, his claim to fame is because he fought for the independence of his country. Next, we move to the Central African Republic. Touadera Assange is still struggling to run for a third term, but the people don't really want it. So he has just sold his country to the Wagner Group of Russia. The Wagner Group is exploiting all the rainforests, and you would think that a poor country like this should be able to use resources to help its own people. So when people say, okay, let France get out and let Russia get in, Russia is doing even worse than what France is doing. But most of the people don't understand. France is a colonial power. Russia also is a colonial power. Because they are there to exploit. They are using the Wagner Group. We've spent a lot of time studying the Wagner Group. Their role in Africa is not good. So if anybody tells you anything else, watch out. The Wagner Group is not a good force. What is going to happen Now that America is fighting Russia, eventually they're going to rout these guys out of Africa, because America now is putting emphasis on Africa. They were looking somewhere else, but now they are looking at Africa. So they're going to give the Wagner Group a run for its money. Next, we look at Congo DRC. The story in Congo DRC, we have a guy called Vidi Chimanga. He is an advisor to the President Felix Tshisekedi. He was caught discussing the taking of a bribe from a mining company, a company that wanted to do business in Congo DRC. Felix Tshisekedi came to power with the pronouncement that he's going to clean house, make sure that there's less corruption, unlike the government of Joseph Kabila. But around him, we can tell you that the beautiful ones are not yet born. The corruption is everywhere. So that's what happened to Vidi Chimanga. It looks like he was fired from his position. But the same thing that happened in Congo DRC, we have a similar story of corruption in Gabon. Some of you sent us a video of the former Speaker of the National Assembly. He was caught with millions of dollars. He was coming from Congo Brazzaville. Why? He was caught with a big suitcase. They were opening the suitcase containing millions of dollars in it. People are suffering of poverty. But where did he get all this money? That's why the people are poor, because those in government continue stealing their resources. So that's a sad story in Gabon. Is this happening because Ali Bongo wants this guy not to run for election? Because this guy wants to run for election. So it looks like this is a trap, a setup, so that he should not run for election. That's how politics goes in Africa.
Hey, yo, Shape, I thought you was gonna take me to this place so I could get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you're searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy Shape. When I say his services are the best in the states, word is born. He even take care of your tax forms, fat refunds. So come, get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing, no waiting. This man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
Okay, let's go to Gambia. Adama Barrow and Yaya Jammeh. Is Adama Barrow going to repatriate Yaya Jammeh? Because after the Peace and Truth Commission investigation, they found out that Yaya Jammeh committed a lot of crimes, and those families want him to return and face trial. But is Adama Barrow going to bring Yaya Jammeh back to Gambia to face trial? That's a question on a lot of inquiring minds. Next, we'll move to Mali. Mali has been a hotbed of jihadist activity, and it looks like under the offices of the United Nations, the Germans have been keeping peace in Mali, in the northern part. But it looks like these German forces are really uneasy when they look at the role of the Wagner Group in the country. They're asking a lot of questions. So the Wagner Group, it looks like their time to leave Africa has come, because so many people are complaining about the Wagner Group. Either they are killing people or they are stealing resources, taking them to Russia. There are so many elements. When you look at Cameroon, Libya, Sudan, Mali, the Wagner Group is everywhere. The activities are nefarious, and people think that they are not good guys, and they want them to leave. So that's the story you get in Africa. The Wagner Group, they have to leave. Next, we go to Nigeria. The elections of 2023 are being planned, but it looks like sometimes elections in Nigeria become violent. And we think the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, a foundation created by the former president, they are hosting a meeting on the 20th of September. This is a Zoom meeting. The intention of this meeting is to try to work to make sure that the election will be peaceful. We think this is a salutary move, because when elections are organized in Africa and a lot of people have to die, we don't think it's worth it. Is the death of an African worth a presidential election? We don't think so. So we really salute Goodluck Jonathan for organizing this conference so that people can participate and learn to make the election peaceful. And finally, we go to South Africa. South Africa, we saw the reed dance of the Zulu. This is beautiful. We always like it when our people respect their tradition. This is a tradition of sexual purity among the young maidens, and we love what we saw. But on another note, Cyril Ramaphosa has been visiting the White House. As you know, since the war broke out in Ukraine, a lot of African countries have been supporting Russia. And Cyril Ramaphosa is one of them. Now that he's with Mr. Joe Biden, what is he saying? It looks like the United States is working on a bill to punish a lot of African countries, the countries that are supporting Russia. We said it before on this show. I was asking African countries to be careful. When you support Russia, be careful because Russia is going to lose. When Russia loses, you're going to bring a whole lot of trouble for your country. A foolish government like the government of Paul Biya went ahead and was signing military alliances with Russia. Russia is a weak superpower. America has better weapons. American technology is superior to Soviet technology. And now America is focusing on Africa. So what we know is going to happen in this bill, they're going to draft it and pass it so that all those countries in Africa that are supporting Russia will be punished. When they punish them, who is going to bear the brunt? The African people. And that's where we come to the end of our show and we say it's good to be smart. Technology is good. Africans should understand that America has better technology than Russia. America is superior to Russia. I'm not saying it just because I live in the United States. I've studied world history and I realized that America has perfected the technology of war. You look at what is happening in Ukraine. When we started talking about it on this show in February, we told you that Ukraine is going to emerge victorious if they use American weapons very well. And that's what has happened. Ukraine is winning. Russia is losing. And when Russia loses, what is going to happen is going to be like what happened to Germany at the end of the First World War. At the Treaty of Versailles, what happened? Germany was humiliated. Germany was made to pay for reparations. And that's what is going to happen to Russia. Russia is going to be forced to pay reparations to what it has done in Ukraine. And if African governments are supporting Russia, it's a big mistake. And we tell you, please be careful. Support the winner, the United States, because that's the winner. Okay? Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Medical practice software is too old. Indeed, all the programs are built on MUMPS, technology of the 1950s, and the programs cost too much money. Epic and Cerner cost billions of dollars. Meditech costs thousands of dollars too. In fact, that's why we created AlexiaHTC.com, a new and free EMR/EHR for doctors. AlexiaHTC.com is built for HIPAA. Yes, magical one-screen technology, ease of use, quick charting, amazing e-prescribing, tight labs integration, multi-office difference, because we believe doctors and patients need a break today. Be the first to test drive AlexiaHTC.com. You have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. Act now. Call 240-350-1131. Alexia Care Corporation at AlexiaHTC.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.